the next 2 days, we're just going to catch up on a bunch of stuff that I've either missed out on or my Discord has heavily requested, or there's so much stuff that I feel like I've been missing the last few weeks. We've been just so focused on particular topics. Good morning to Ethan. Ethan. Did you guys see Hassan's new GQ spread? Honestly, I kind of feel, I don't want to be negative, but I kind of feel like it could have been better. I kind of feel like it could have been better. But maybe I'm just like so not into men. You know what I mean? Did you guys see this? You just know Ethan Klein's gonna have a field day with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like cute, but I feel like I feel like this doesn't feel GQ status. Like, doesn't it feel like anyone could have taken these photos? Like, where's the professionalism in the photography? Do you know what I mean? And maybe Hassan's like a little anxious or something, but it feels like strained. It's just not, I don't know. Like, obviously this is the best photo, right? Like any photo with a doggo is the best photo, but I feel like there was something aesthetically, like I feel like the photographer, or maybe it was just Hassan is a little tense. I think Hassan might be a shy boy because he's got this like anxiety strain in his shoulders and neck. Like this is for me anxiety pose, but I blame the photographer always, not the model, like because he's not a model, right? But you just know the internet's like, oh, Ethan's gonna have a field day with this, bro. Ethan's gonna have a field day with this one. Well, which plays into what I want to talk to you guys about Ethan, right? Because again, Ethan's just a person on a planet, bro. He's just another dude, you know? But the thing about being another dude, you know, is that you're a flawed creature. You're a flawed creature, and the question is, can you learn how to be less flawed over time? Not perfect, but less flawed. Ethan went after two of the ladies in his community or former community. Okay, one was Trisha, and we know Trisha uses all pronouns, so, you know, lady here is a little gender neutral. But he went after Trisha for her fertility issues, which is just like so interesting to me. But it feels like this man is just throwing insults out as much as possible just to see which ones land, right?
Remember when she came on Frenemies and straight up lied about having fertility problems for clout? Yeah. That's what's happening. Trisha straight up lied for clout about being infertile and actually got mad at me and caused a whole scene when I announced that Hila was pregnant when she was perfectly capable of having babies, and now she's pregnant with her third baby.
The title was like pregnancy announcement, which is, I'm happy to talk about the pregnancy.
We talked a lot about the pregnancy here.
But it wasn't the pregnancy announcement. H3 Live was. It's your guys' thing, which I'm happy to talk about. I'm happy for you guys, but to say like, oh, we don't recycle things, it's like, you know, you do, and it's fine, but I don't make it the same title because it's not an announcement. We're talking about your pregnancy.
I wouldn't say recycling. It's a different conversation.
The original one was Trisha's gonna, like, something, it doesn't have to be about me, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that it's a pregnancy announcement, again, when it's not a pregnancy announcement, because I'm not pregnant, you know what I mean? We're talking about your guys' pregnancy. It was an announcement. You announced it on H3 Live.
Oh, you thought that people would think it was about you being pregnant?
Of course it was. Not. It's just like, I watch H3 Live. I don't want to talk about it on Frenemies. Like, if we're being honest,
well,
you know.
we were going to talk about Hila being pregnant, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
But the title has to be pregnancy announcement.
I don't see why that's a problem.
Because it's not an announcement. You weren't announcing it.
Okay, so Hila's pregnant, and I'm talking about it with Trisha. Would you prefer that?
Anything to be more creative.
Want to talk about fun stuff?
Okay, there's a couple of things here that I do think stands out. This commentary is very interesting because obviously I understand what Trisha's saying. I do think Trisha was triggered for more than just the baby reason. Like, I think when you're mentally, okay, I saw a therapist talk about this on TikTok, where like when you are borderline or distorted, you know, it's not that you, when put in a bad situation, are triggered. That's not borderline. It's when nothing happened and you get triggered, right? That's the point. Somebody says something not offensive. Someone does something that's not that big of a deal and you overreact. That's the point in which you're disordered, right? So you have to remember, like, you being upset because it was an upsetting situation is fine. The question is, should I be upset about this? And I do think Trisha was inappropriately upset about it, but because it could have just been something that she said, hey, people are going to think it's me, but it's not, guys. It's Hila. Yay, Hila's pregnant. Instead, she was like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, she was absolutely upset, but I do think that a regulated, healthy person wouldn't be upset about it. Because I couldn't imagine being that upset. It's not that deep. It's only that deep because it's a painful subject and it triggers her. Now, her being or Trisha being having issues with infertility, yeah, that's, you know, actually, you know what the joke I make with my partner all the time is I wonder if I'm infertile because I've never actually tried to have a baby on purpose. Right? So I don't actually know if I'm fertile or not. I've never gotten myself tested. I've never checked. And I think Trisha, to some extent, was probably in a similar on a similar journey, though I use birth control most of my life. I really have been on birth control for literally most of my adult life. But I don't think Trisha was. I think Trisha specifically was not on birth control at certain points and still never got pregnant. But even so, right, that Trisha identifying or saying that they have fertility issues is none of my business. I actually don't think it's that deep, you know, because Hila, I think, also technically has fertility issues, right, if I'm not mistaken. So they both have 3 children with fertility issues. It's like, what's the big deal? And also, Trisha's obviously a very uneducated person. They say this all the time on the Frenemies, where they were obviously just saying things to say things. So Ethan trying to hold it over Trisha's head now is so weird. Right? Chad says Trisha had an STD in her youth that she said the doctors told her she may never have kids because of how scarring bad it was internally. Sure. Like, that's the other thing is like, it doesn't matter what Trisha said. What matters is that Ethan shouldn't be talking about it now because it doesn't matter. Like, anything Trisha said ever isn't so, like, the only thing we should be holding Trisha accountable for is like all the fucking racist shit she did and all the fucking bigoted shit she did and all the other, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that I really care that she's not, like, she doesn't know how to convey what her doctor told her or whatever. What I'm mostly interested in is holding her accountable for like the racist shit she's done. Because I feel like that kind of stuff absolutely gets ignored. Like, that's the stuff that I'm the most, you notice how that's the stuff nobody ever cares about? And I'm like, isn't that the only kind of stuff that really mattered? Like, I mean, yes, everything else mattered to some extent, but I feel like the worst offenses Trisha ever engaged in was her like racist behavior, her blackface, all the other stuff, like playing stupid when it came to that stuff. It's like, I don't get it. But then I think if we held her accountable for that and then went after her, quote, lies about fertility, sure. But I just don't think it was necessarily a lie. I think Trisha doesn't know any better, which is not an excuse. But I do think that it's interesting that that's always what people go after Trisha for, is like pretending she was a chicken nugget. And I was like, well, what about the time she wasn't pretending she was a chicken nugget and she was doing blackface and rapping the N-word? Because Trisha rapped it, edited it, posted it. It's like Logan Paul filming the dead body, editing the dead body, putting dead body in thumbnail, then posting the dead body. It's like, it never ceases to amaze me. Every time I think, man, I really said some shit on stream. And then I realize, like, man, never mind, bro. I mean, I still have to hold myself accountable, but sometimes I'm shocked at what adult people post on the internet. Let's also talk about what happened with Olivia. I missed this. You guys asked me to talk about it. I'm a little late to it, but here I am. So this was posted over on X, which I don't have an X account. So I kind of missed out on some stuff. That's so frustrating to me that I do miss out on stories because I'm not on X. But also, getting an X account sounds like a bad idea, right? Let's listen to this. So Ethan is calling into the show for context. They're talking about Love Island. It's Olivia, Hila, and help me out. Isn't this AB's wife? I think it's AB's wife, if I'm not mistaken. Lena. I think that's Lena. I actually didn't watch the video long enough to check. Maybe it's not Lena. Is it Lena? Yeah, it is her. It is her. Okay. So here's the post on, chat's confirming. Okay, it is Lena. So here's the post on Twitter. It's going to be a picture of Ethan's face first, and then it's going to move into video. Okay.
So,
oh, is that volume okay?
and by the way, the last match she had, she basically sexually assaulted.
What? What are you talking about?
I'm so sorry that you didn't notice that.
The
He
night
said
with
that
Chris,
When she was like, "Can you please
No, he
cuddle
said
me?" and
she
he was
was
like, "I don't
forced-
want to," and she
Yeah.
was like,
and she kept
3,
trying to
2,
grab
1.
him and touch
I
him
thought that
under
was
the blanket,
in
and he
3,
said no.
2,
she
1.
sexually assaulted him.
I think,
That
maybe
was kind
using
of
that
the
language is a little
subtext.
bit harsh.
Was she
but
saying, "I want to have sex
was-
with you right now," or was she saying
No,
like, "Can
cuddle
you-"
now. 3, 2, 1.
I'm giving you until 3.
I thought that was stupid and crazy.
If it was
didn't
the opposite gender,
necessarily-
if a guy did
If
that
that
to
No,
a
was
girl,
the
I agree with you. I don't like it, but I
gender,
probably
hold
wouldn't
the
have said that
If
he sexually
it was
assaulted
the
her.
opposite gender, and a guy said, "You need to come do physical touching with me now under the blanket," and I'm counting down from 3.
I thought that was crazy, and then it
you
didn't
would-
happen, and they didn't further that conversation.
No,
said,
she
I
was
have
like
to go back.
upset about it.
Well, they were upset about it later, but he has already been very mean to her before that.
He
So
was
there
not
was-
mean.
No,
That
gentleman all
doesn't
the way around.
justify
He was
told her
such
to
a
shut up, like,
gentleman.
he told her to shut up like 5 times. Are you kidding?
Look,
I'm not. He was not mean.
during
I
that
thought
baby,
he handled
during that
himself
baby
so
challenge, he kept
good.
telling her to shut up, and she was like, "Stop telling me to shut up."
Oh, I didn't.
okay,
And
Yeah,
after
it's
the-
possible
hold
that I
on, that's
skipped that
neither
because
here.
the
That's
show was
not, that's
getting
not
like too
relevant
long
to my
for me.
point. Hold on,
Wait.
that's not relevant to my point.
I do think I
it doesn't
skipped
matter
the
how
baby
mean.
episode.
It doesn't matter how mean he was to her. He said she was groping and grabbing and touching him under the blanket when he wanted to go to sleep.
And he
Did
was
he say that she was
he was
groping
like-
and touching him?
he was
or
like,
she
I
say?
That's
need
what I
Please
remember,
cuddle
but
me.
he was saying I need my sleep, and she was like not having
Right, but
it.
did they end up? Did
Well,
something
she-
happen
well, we-
that he was?
No,
forced-
'cause
This
he
was
said
towards the end,
no.
right?
Yeah.
yes, towards the end.
She just asked to cuddle.
right.
No, that's not
And
what
then she
happened.
said
I need to go
3-2, and then
find.
they didn't,
She was being so pushy about it.
which is bad. It is bad, but. Are we gonna sit here and say that she is a sexual assaulter?
No,
No,
I don't
God,
think so.
I'm
No.
asking. If,
No,
because obviously
Hold
I don't
on,
want to
hold on.
defend someone who did that.
I'm with you.
I don't think sexual assault is necessarily the language. I'm trying to think what is
I think
the
I misunderstood
appropriate language.
that whole thing.
Like,
She was kind of harassing him,
kind of harassing.
maybe.
Yeah, I think harassing Ethan is more appropriate.
Because what
Aggressively
I remember, she was touching, but I need to go back and watch. Now, obviously,
I mean,
either
obviously
way, I
it's
don't
under
think-
the blanket, so we don't know.
It wasn't,
Listen, I don't think
sexual
she-
from what I recall.
I don't
I
remember
should have
anything
prepared
sexual.
for this.
No, she just
Now
asked to
listen,
cuddle.
I'm not accusing
That's
her
what
of
I
a
thought,
crime or
but
anything.
I should've-
Guys, let me just
Come on,
finish
you
my
know
point,
what she
okay?
means.
Hold on.
She's the one that went all the way already with Jeremiah too, and like, I
In
kind
my
of think she was
understanding, she did
holding
She
not.
it.
didn't even want to kiss him in front of people in the villa.
Guys, let me just finish my
No.
point
Yeah, he got
before you
so
guys
mad
make it
that
seem
she
like.
wouldn't kiss him.
Can they hear me, Dan? What's happening?
We can hear you. Sorry.
I can sort of hear
Okay,
you.
let me just finish my point before you all make it seem like I'm crazy for saying something. I don't think she committed a crime or anything, but she was very pushy with something that I perceived as to be sexually suggestive. And if that was opposite genders, you would all be freaking out right now. Bye-bye. Say bye now. Bye-bye.
He just
Yeah,
dropped
no.
the hot take and then dips, but
No,
okay.
I think I misunderstood
okay.
what happened, and I don't want to do this anymore.
Wait, what?
What do you mean?
I don't know the moment he's referencing, TBH, but yeah, that's why I'm like, why'd he dip? Let's talk more about this.
Well, I mean, the way I remember it, I felt very weird that she was really pushy with him.
With who?
You don't remember? With Chris.
Oh, okay.
They
No,
were
I
in
don't know.
bed.
I felt that she was pushy. I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
I don't want you to get upset though. This is,
Olivia.
this is all.
No.
You don't gotta feel. I mean,
No. I agree with you.
yeah, like you don't have to recall the whole show by. You know what I mean? Like, there's half
We're
the
just
people in
here
this
to
room
have
have a
fun.
different
This is
recollection
not-
of
I don't want you
what
to
happened.
feel like stress and.
I just feel bad. I'm sorry.
No, Olivia,
Olivia,
don't.
you didn't do anything.
I don't
No.
recall what he's
didn't
talking
do
about
anything.
either. To be honest, because it's so much in one season.
It's a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah.
You want to take a break?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
We try to find the scene if you want.
No, I don't want.
No.
Okay.
It's just. You want me to?
I'm sorry. I didn't.
No, you're
No,
fine. You want me to
Olivia.
cover for
No,
you
from
for a
the
sec?
show, you're completely right. I'm with
You
you.
want to go take a few minutes? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Okay. So that was the clip. Olivia walks off set, and apparently she decided not to come back. Now, there was a little bit of confusion. I think this was from Huda and Chris. Yes. Was that? I didn't watch Love Island yet. Right. So from my understanding, it was between cast member Huda and cast member Chris. Is that correct? Can anyone confirm this? And apparently this is like, okay, yes, thank you, chat, is multi-layered. So then there's a clip that's going around that's associated with this story. I'm not sure if it's relevant because I haven't seen the show yet. And it's Huda changed her story about the PDA situation. And this is the 2-minute clip I found in relation to Love Island and the scene that I think they're talking about, but I'm not really sure. So let's just give this a watch for full context and then we'll talk about it. Let me pull this up. Oh, hello, volume.
fucking lingering and couldn't get why he kept fucking lingering and like
Hello? Uh-oh. Hello?
get why he kept fucking lingering and like
what? It's not working. What a hater, bro. Wait, why isn't it working? Is it just loading?
Either too.
Okay, I got you. Give me a second.
Why?
There was
like really couldn't get over it.
There's reasons why I wouldn't either too.
Why?
There was so many things that he was doing that were not shown at all, and I think that all of those things played into me not wanting to kiss him sometimes.
Like, can you just give an example of like what you were experiencing that was playing into you not wanting to kiss him?
Yeah, no. So he had a wandering eye. He was definitely looking at other girls, even if it was off camera, would say things about other girls. And it's like, why are you talking about a girl like that in front of me? And he would have little cute nicknames for girls. And he would say, shut up. He would a lot too.
That was told once you to shut up so many times where I was like, this isn't like joking
Do
anymore.
not talk to me that way.
Yeah, he always was saying that to you.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, and I think that people were saying that I was being rude in certain ways. There's sometimes in my joking way of talking sometimes, like when I'm just like, bro, be so for real. Like, and I talk like that, and it sounds like I'm being really mean, but when you know my humor, like that's how I talk. I can't remember. There's like one specific moment I had seen a clip of me talking. I was like, damn, I can see how that sounds mean. It was in a joking manner, but I can see how that sounds mean. And that's happened a lot too. I mean, people don't understand my humor, but there was a lot of things that played into me not wanting to kiss him because I'm like, you're not doing the things I'm asking you to do. So why would I kiss you in front of other people?
Right.
Girl, he would never talk to me during the day, but he would talk to every single girl. I would walk in the mornings and I would get all cute. And like, I remember there was one specific moment I was in a green bikini and like some white shorts and I felt so cute that day. And I walked down the stairs. He is not looking at me even, but he's having a full conversation with Shelly. Like, doesn't even... This is full. And this would happen with multiple girls in the villa. Like, he would do this. And it's just like, damn, say good morning. And everyone's like, why didn't you say good morning? Because it's like, this has been happening for a while since I noticed he started having a wandering eye. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm not about to start trying to get his attention. I'm not about to do what I did before and like be needy. I'm not.
Okay, so obviously there's like a dynamic happening. There's actually a whole video.
Where do you guys stand today?
It's not like the longest video, but let's watch it in a second about the possibility of her even like people on the internet are saying like maybe she essayed him. Let's talk about it in a second. Let's finish this up because I think what's going to happen here is like for the context of the conversation, because sometimes Ethan Klein does this thing where he will exaggerate a situation. That's why him and Trisha were so good together. And we never know what's like actually true, right? My little brother called me up and he was like, bro, what is up with Trisha Paytas being like, I was kidnapped. Like, was she kidnapped? I was like, I don't know with Trisha because like Trisha uses words that I just cannot process what the truth is. And I think Ethan is so similar to me where when they talk, I'm like, can you be so serious right now? What are you saying? Like, what is the truth of this situation? And then I discount them because of the way that they tell stories. And so I think this is what's so upsetting about Ethan Klein in general is that he twists everything to fit narratives that make him feel good about himself, which then turns around and causes an issue with everybody else because maybe sometimes he's right. But the thing with Ethan is he revels, in my opinion, too giddily about the possibility of an essay. Okay, the same way he went after Myron with that girl and everything else, like, look, I'm all about calling out predators, but also you're way too excited at the thought that this girl was assaulted. And that's what pisses me off about it is like there's just like this excitement. So the reason I'm not exactly trusting him on this topic is because of that. Also, Olivia's been assaulted. So she's very sensitive, which she should be, you know, about the topic. And she certainly doesn't want to support a predator. I think we all have this thing where like we want to be very careful about who we call a sexual assaulter. But at the same time, and I will say, but because of the way that the world is shifting, we are starting to call things out more and more as sexual assault, as we should, that I don't think the world is ready to process as sexual assault, right? And this goes back to this idea of consent and how we view the idea around consent, right? So our grandparents' consent, our consent or like the Gen X consent than like Gen Z consent, if you want to say it that way, but like religious consent where there's basically like no consent. Okay, liberal consent where it's like, hey, can I kiss you? But then it doesn't give informed consent of like, hey, I'm drunk and I might not be able to actually consent to anything I say. So even if I say yes, maybe it isn't a yes. It's like informed consent is so important. And the problem is like we don't know which one is happening in all of these situations, especially in relation to celebrities on these types of shows, where they are encouraged to kind of be messy. And that's what I see on YouTube. That's what I see with Ethan and all these people is like there is too much of an incentive to be messy. And so what happens is like real people like Olivia get impacted, or the people watching, or even just like the excitement of like talking about the essay. Ethan sounds too happy when he talks about it. That's my issue, is he's too excited to talk about it. And that's what I find the most frustrating, I think, about it is like, why are you so happy to talk about this topic? Like, oh, if the genders were reversed, yeah, but like, it doesn't matter people's gender. Maybe I could agree with Ethan. I'd have to see the clip, but like, let's watch this video about it because I think it'll give us context. But I think for me, and I assume this is why people wanted me to talk about this, ultimately, I doubt Ethan cares about the truth. I doubt Ethan cares about what's true. I doubt he cares about the assault victim. I think he just wants to I think this is my theory about all the debate bros. I think they get the thrill. Their thrill is like just punching in a point. They do not care about what's true. They do not care about helping people. It's just all about that. Like, I think they just get some sort of energy from it, you know? And I think that's why Ethan goes so hard, because he just feels so like vindicated and like, oh. And that's why I think ultimately, as much as he thinks he's not like them, he really is like all those debate bros and all those like, you know, those loser men. But let's see, because, you know, I certainly, yeah, let's see. We need the details. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh my God. Oh my Lord, Jesus Christ. I saw an Instagram post that was like, no one needs to be sneezing 3 times in a row. Tell that to my allergies. Okay, let's watch this video for the evidence. Hopefully this video is a good one. It's 10 minutes long.
Stand today.
Cordial.
Before this comes out.
I don't give a fuck.
You'll be fine. You'll say this to his face.
I've told him all. He knows every single thing I've said right now. He's heard already.
He's posting a little on social media acting like you guys are really fine.
I wonder why.
Me too.
You know, a lot of people are. Or trying to. Mm-hmm. Trust me, I've clocked all of this stuff.
Who would have thought one of the messiest post-Villa storylines from Love Island USA Season 7 would involve Huda and Chris? What started as a somewhat promising connection quickly turned sour, and now the drama has only intensified outside the villa, with both of them throwing subtle and not so subtle shade on podcasts. Fans are divided, emotions are high, and receipts are even being pulled, so let's break it all down, you guys. I'm sure by now we all know during their time on Love Island, fans have been accusing Huda of coercing affection from Chris when it wasn't reciprocated. On Reddit and TikTok, viewers pointed out moments of discomfort, suggesting Huda seemed eager for a deep connection, while Chris appeared hesitant and even resisted physical interaction. This clip also went viral.
It says, hold on. It says, imagine, why can't I see the text? Hello? It says, imagine getting threatened in the middle of REM sleep. She needs to go get her a submissive man. Poor Chris, this man can't even sleep. Huda's saying, hello, tapping him. I want to get some sleep, Chris says. Huda says, oh my God, bro. So Chris says, so I'm not trying to be fucking sleepy all day. Huda says, just snuggle me then. She said, oh my God. She said, if not cuddling me is worth me being upset tomorrow. And they're in a room with a bunch of beds with a bunch of people. Huda says, that's a battle you're picking, so congratulations.
Huda's recently shared in interviews that he frequently...
Is that the scene that Ethan is talking about? For context, is that the scene? Is that what that was? Discourse said, are they downplaying essay? I don't think so. If that's the scene, I don't consider that essay. What I consider that is toxic begging for affection. It's like kind of pathetic. She's not essaying him. She's pathetically like, pick me, pick me. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying that is the scene. Yeah, I'm going to say that's not assault. I'm going to say that's her saying, like, come on, like, why don't you cuddle me? Right? Like, it's pathetic. It's like sad. And then he's I think he's being cruel by dismissing her because they're on camera. It's kind of embarrassing. I think like it's almost like they're embarrassing each other. Do you know what I'm saying? In the context, they're in a room with a bunch of people. It's a TV show where you're supposed to be romantic. It feels like I feel like there's like embarrassment happening, right? Like, why would you reject the girl you're sleeping in bed with if you're on a show where you're trying to be lovey-dovey, except to like kind of embarrass her? And also if he's like, the show puts them in the same bed together. So then it kind of feels like they shouldn't do that if these are the issues that could come up in the show. So I guess I'm a little confused. So I would just say like, it was messy, it was silly, it was immature, it was toxic. I don't know that I would be able to constitute this as SA. It feels a little bit too far-fetched for me personally. But what do you guys think? Let me see. Discourse said here in Germany, even though it's rarely enforced, technically any form of uninvited touch can be considered SA as long as it was sexually motivated, which obviously brings a lot of speculation about intentions, which is probably why it's rarely enforced. Yeah, I think Huda just wanted to cuddle before bed because like they're in a room with a bunch of people, right? They're not trying to have sex, are they? Or would she be willing to have sex in front of everyone on camera for the sake of the publicity? Is that what she was aiming for? Right? I mean, spitting on someone is considered assault, right? So you have to think like, you have to think about it in that context. Now, whether or not something is technically assault, does that mean the reaction needs to be the same? Like, this is my opinion, because this is what's hard for people is like, not everyone who's, assaults you don't need to react the same way to every case. It's dependent on the case and the context. So, you know, if somebody came over, like technically if your brother comes over and pulls on your hair, that's assault, right? But I'm not going to press charges against my little brother for pulling on my hair, right? But if my brother and I are in a confrontation and I say, don't fucking touch me, and it becomes like, I'll call the cops, and then they pull my hair, well, maybe I'm calling the cops, but maybe. Because again, like, it's not the action that's only the assault. It's the relationship to the situation that allows people the nuance of being like, you know, a miscalculated situation to intentionally assault, right? Chad says, is it down to the person experiencing it? It's down to a lot of things, right? It's down to a lot of things. That's the problem. It's like, it's not always down to the person experiencing it. Because, you know, I think it's we should always teach people caution, but this show that's the problem with going on these shows. They are curated to encourage these types of situations. This is the dilemma, right? And that's what I want people to understand when we process information. Should you go on the show? Is the show safe? Love is Blind had to do the same thing where they had to up the safety regulation because like, hey, you are building a perfect storm for a bad thing to happen, which is all of life, isn't it, huh? So without victim blaming, okay, we have to pay attention to those details. Like, should she have pressured him? No. But should the show exist? No. Because shows like this do force people to pretend they're into each other when they're not. Let's be so for real. How many of these stupid shows have I watched where I'm like, they're not even into each other, but they have to pretend they are just for the show, right? So that's the thing is like, I don't know how to hold her accountable in this context when it just seemed for her, like actually just given the way it was, it seemed honestly, given the pure context of it, it seemed like really sad. Hey, like cuss me, like cuddle me, like kiss me, like cuddle me. No, I don't want to. I want to go to bed. What? Like, okay, well then cuddle me, like show me affection. No, I want to go to bed. It's like, that's kind of mean. Like, I tell you this right now, I'm married, but if my partner did that to me, I would cry. Because why would my partner deny me affection? The dilemma is like, they're not partnered. They're on a TV show. That's the difference, is like they are on a TV show. It's not real. That's not your partner for real, right? So for me, like, it's kind of sad, I think, all around. But maybe that's why we have to have these conversations in the first place. Okay, back to the video.
complimented other women and dismissed her with comments like "shut up," which left her feeling undervalued. In one viral moment, Chris even refused to help Huda cross the water. I'm sure you guys have all seen that clip, which many saw as a metaphor for his emotional detachment. Some took that scene as the moment everything shifted, and others saw it as confirmation that the connection was always one-sided. After leaving the villa, both Huda and Chris have been airing each other out in interviews, and it's only getting shadier and messier, so let's get into it. On Call Her Daddy, Huda did not hold back. Alex asked Huda if Chris gave her a heads up before telling people in the villa that they had hooked up. And according to her, not only did that combo never happen, but what actually went down.
Was he mean to her after they hooked up or before? I'm curious about that.
Between them was seriously exaggerated. For those unaware, Huda previously insinuated Chris allegedly told people in the Love Island villa that they had schmecks without first discussing it with her, and she said that she's not a fan of people putting her personal business out there, which might have played a role in why she and Chris called it quits during the finale. She said Chris had a wandering eye, and it revealed she had to pull back affection because he wasn't meeting her emotional needs. She also shut down his claims about their physical connection, bluntly saying he barely put it in, which was a direct clapback to his post-villa comment.
It seemed like Chris told everyone that you guys had without talking to you.
Girl, I didn't fully do anything. That's the other part.
Oh, really?
Girl, it was like halfway. It wasn't even the full shebang. Like, I'm just like, you're over here like, yeah, we had sex, we did this, and I fucked this girl, she's so fine. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Like, you barely put that shit in. Don't even.
She also blamed some of it on the way things were edited on TV as opposed to how things were in real life.
There were so many things that he was doing that were not shown at all, that all of those things played into me not wanting to kiss him. So he had a wandering eye. He was definitely looking at other girls, even if it was off camera.
So I don't understand the whole balance between like she didn't even want to kiss him on camera, which is what Olivia was trying to say, and then Ethan calling it SA, right? Hold on here. So just to put it into context, hold on.
Basically sexually assaulted.
What? What are you talking about?
I'm so sorry that you didn't notice that.
The night with Chris,
when she was like, "Can you please cuddle me?" and he was like, "I don't want to," and she was like,
and she kept trying to grab him and touch him under the blanket.
In
and he
3,
said no.
2,
she
1.
sexually assaulted him.
I think. I
That
mean,
was
maybe
kind
using
of
that
the
language is a little
subtext.
bit harsh.
Was she
but
saying, "I want to have sex
was-
with you right now," or was she saying
No,
like, "Can
cuddle
you-"
now. 3, 2, 1.
I'm giving you until 3.
I thought that was stupid and crazy.
If it was
didn't
the opposite gender,
No, this is brain dead. Okay, let's talk about it. Because sometimes people will say that, like, Brittany, what if it was the opposite gender, but the situation isn't the same? Okay, the differences here, and maybe people aren't getting it, is like a difference here would be like, hold on, wait. Let's see the video again so we can process like the energy they're putting into the conversation, right?
Listed physical interaction.
Okay, watch. Okay, so he's laying down, he's facing away from her. She's tapping him. She's like tapping him. Okay. She said, I'm going to give you 3 seconds. I'm dead ass. 3. Oops. 2. Well, hello. I want to get some sleep, he said. Oh my God, bro. He said, I'm not trying to be fucking sleepy all day. She said, just snuggle me then. And she's saying, oh my God. She said, if not cuddling me is worth me being upset tomorrow. Okay.
Huda's recently
okay, right? So like so basically it's like a dynamic in which he's either not interested in her. She's wanting affection, right? Again, given the context of the situation in which they're supposed to be romantically paired up, am I like obviously if I was her, I would have gotten out of that bed. You know what I mean? I would have just gotten out of that bed. I would have been like, he's not into me. Why am I on this show? What am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't even want to cuddle me. He's not even into me. Like, why are we on this show together? They're obviously fighting. Like, they're obviously fighting. Do you know what I'm saying? It's toxic. This is a toxic dynamic, right? But like, do you know what I'm saying? So for me, like, not SA, for me, not that big of a deal. Do you know what I mean? It's not even like it's toxic, but it's just like how people think they're supposed to communicate in toxic dynamics. Like, that's what I mean. It's like people on this show got to be toxic, right? I feel like who goes on Love Island and isn't toxic? But that's why these shows are interesting to people, because they create these moments, right?
I agree with you. I don't like it, but I probably wouldn't have said that he sexually assaulted her.
It was the opposite gender, and a guy said, you need to come do physical touching with me now under the blanket, and I'm counting down from 3.
I thought that was crazy, and then it didn't happen, and they didn't.
Yeah, like she wasn't like, You better fucking cuddle me in 3 seconds. She's like, cuddle me. Come on, I'm so serious. Like 3, 2. She's like, man, if cuddling me now is worth me being upset tomorrow, then like whatever. And she looks disappointed. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's not about like who's the good guy, bad guy. This situation shouldn't have even occurred, but it's not like that big of a deal, guys. Please, for the fuck's sake, it's not that big of a deal. Okay? Maybe I'm missing something, but it's like not that deep. It's not that fucking deep. You never been in a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend? You're like, come on, cuddle me. They're like, no, I don't want to. But that's a sign something's wrong. Like, what person are you with romantically that's not going to turn around and cuddle you even if they're asleep? And like, he's not even asleep yet, right? Like, they're still awake. They're just going to bed. So it's like, why aren't we paying attention to the fact that the whole situation is naturally fucked? So the only way they can communicate is fucked. You cannot have a healthy dynamic in an already toxic situation. You know what I mean? It's just like, again, if you're in a loving relationship, your partner doesn't say no to cuddles. I said what I said. Your partner says like, baby, I'm so tired. 5 seconds of cuddling. I love you. I really got to go to bed. Okay, great. But like, your partner's not going to be like, no, I don't want to fucking touch you. Like, come on. So they're obviously not a couple. Then the situation is they're on a TV show. Okay? So then him rejecting her is to embarrass her. Him rejecting her is to say, fuck off, I don't like you. And then that's the problem, right? And that's the thing. So, okay, it's one of those things. Chet says, I say no to cuddles when I'm trying to go to sleep. Then you're not with the love of your life, girl. Ain't no way the love of my life is going to be like, can I have cuddles before bed? And I'm going to say nah for sleep. Fuck sleep, bro. Ain't no way, girl. The love of your life. Man, what if they die in their sleep? What if they die in their sleep, bro? You're going to wish you cuddled them. What if they literally die in their sleep, bro? Ain't no way I'm going to say no to cuddles at any point. Even if I'm tired, bro, you can cuddle me. I'm sleeping. I love you. But like, ain't no way. You know what I mean? Would I ever do that? Ain't no way. But you know, again, everyone can do their own thing. But again, it's like one of those things where they're not like in a healthy relationship. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And look, I don't stay in a cuddling position to sleep. Let's be real. It's too warm. But ain't no way we're awake enough for me to turn around and hold you for 5 seconds to make you feel love before you go to bed. You know what I mean? So like, we're not talking about cuddling sleeping. We're talking about cuddling before sleep. Just hug her for 5 fucking seconds and call it a day. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not a big fan, but I will say that, and again, this is the thing. This is why we need safe words. So he can safe word and then she can safe word, because I think both of them could have safe worded in that moment. He could have said, Red, don't touch me. I don't want to touch, which would have been valid. And she could have said, Red, I don't want to sleep in this bed with somebody who feels like I'm a threat to them. Because how shitty is that going to feel? You're in bed with somebody who thinks like you think they're into you. You go to touch them and they are grossed out by you. I could not sleep. They should have both been able to sleep in different beds. That's the dilemma here. So no, this is not sexual assault. This is what happens when you're not able to like move out away from a situation. Just in the snippet I saw, I didn't see the whole show. I just saw the snippet. But there is no way that I would bother to constitute this as sexual assault. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make sense. Let's watch it again.
Suggesting.
So they're, so she's like tapping him. That's it. So she's tapping him. Okay, and you cannot say she's not allowed to tap him. Do you know what I'm saying? They're in bed together. She's allowed to touch him. She's allowed to tap his shoulder. It's not that big of a deal, guys. Most of us are allowed to tap shoulders for people we're making out with and having sex with. Okay, so it'd be kind of crazy if everyone's like, oh my God, she touched his shoulder. So she didn't grope him. She didn't touch his balls. She didn't, as far as we know, she touched his shoulder and said, come on, cuddle me. Right? Like, what's the problem? Except that it's not the greatest form of communication, but it's not sexual assault. Right? It's not, there's a difference between sexual assault and trying to get somebody's attention. Come on. Come on, bros. Come on. He's allowed to feel violated by it though, right? He's allowed to say, in the future, I don't be with somebody who does this. Okay, fine. But then in the future, I don't want to be with somebody that can communicate with me and cuddle me before bed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? Chet says, I don't know. I think her saying just cuddle me then implies that she wasn't only asking for cuddles at the beginning. Sure, but I don't know if they were willing to have sex in that room full of people. I don't know if that's the show. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if she asked for a kiss and he said, I don't want to kiss you. And then she wanted, I don't know what she was asking for. Does anybody know? Did anybody watch the show? Did anyone watch the show? Because I don't know. They do have sex in the room with people. Okay, so had they had sex before? Was she asking for sex like normal and he said no? That's fine. But then why wouldn't she say, okay, can you just cuddle me then? Why wouldn't that follow or make sense? So even if she said, hey, do you want to have sex? And he said no. And she said, okay, well, can you cuddle me then? And he's like, no. And she's like, really? So like make that make sense to me, right? Okay, so they do everything in that room you guys are saying. That's good to know. Then make it make sense to me that she is not allowed to ask for cuddles. Make that make sense to me. Is she not allowed to ask for cuddles? And why would he reject her? I don't get it. Why would he reject her? And if he rejected her, why didn't they move out of that bed? This is what I blame the show. I blame the show. I think the show and the way that it's produced is bad. You know, he was mad at her. Oh, so they were fighting. So she was hoping to create connection to stop the fight from happening with intimacy. And he said, no, got it. So they were having a toxic dispute and everyone is running around saying sexual assault. Like, guys, that's not what sexual assault is. At least in my opinion. All forms of sexual assault can be specific. You can call it, let me rephrase. You can call it sexual assault. I think that's a valid form of thinking of it as sexual assault. But I wouldn't be able to see that as sexual assault in that context because it wouldn't make sense given the situation. Do you know what I mean? You said people on that show go sleep somewhere else all the time when they're mad. Okay, hold on. Let me take that into consideration. Let me process that information. So why didn't they then? Then what was the point? Chat says he rejected her because she didn't want to kiss him in public in front of everyone else. So it was definitely toxic. So he wanted to kiss her first in public and she said no. And then he rejected her in bed to get back at her. Is that what you're saying? You know? Chet said, oh my gosh, thank you, Brittany. I'm late to the stream. You're covering Love Island. I knew you would have a good take. Well, I don't know. Like, I'm still gathering the information, right? Yeah, it feels childish. It feels so silly. Let's see. Discord said Huda was the problem person on the show. LOL, so there's a bias. I don't know her. Chet says people with poor communication skills, I guess. I mean, definitely, right? That's why these shows like this just feel like a mess waiting to happen. Chad said if she groped him, that would be assault, but tapping the shoulder and asking for cuddles isn't that bad. I just feel like, look, it's not a perfect situation, but they're definitely not perfect people, right? Chad said, why would she not be allowed to ask for sex? Well, she is allowed to ask for sex. And even if he rejected her, she didn't push him. She said, give me cuddles then, which is still fine. That's what I'm saying. Like, why are we saying that her asking for cuddles is sexual assault? That's what I'm saying. Why is her asking for cuddles sexual assault? Right? Going back to Ethan. I don't get it.
Further that conversation.
She was like upset about it.
Well, they were upset about it later, but he has already been very mean to her before that.
He was not mean.
No, he's gentleman all the way around.
So now, because Olivia is saying he's already been so mean to her, and Hila and Ethan are like, I don't remember him being mean to her. But then the videos we were watching were saying that they were both pretty, like, he told her to shut up and he was rude to her, right? So do you know what I'm saying?
He's a gentleman.
Like, he told her to shut up like 5 times.
Hila said he's been a gentleman, but Olivia said he told her to shut up like 5 times. Uh-oh. So now I don't trust Hila and Ethan because they always have bad takes on sexual assault. So now I don't trust them, and I kind of trust Olivia more in this, right? Chet says they think the countdown is like a threat, I think. Yeah, maybe they do. Versus I just see it as like a pettiness of like, come on, like 1, 2, 3. Like your parents do that to you. So it's like childish and silly. Chet said she didn't go somewhere else because she's anxiously attached. Whether he stayed or left, both, he might have been punishing her, but he's already in the bed and tired, so it wasn't that deep for him to get up. That makes sense. Chet says, I hate the tit for tat. Giving someone who has slightly slighted you a cold shoulder is so toxic. Exactly. Just talk about it and try not to worry. Well, the thing is, they don't care about each other. They're not in a real relationship. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It feels to me like sexual assault's a crazy take, but Ethan and Hila always do this. They always make everything worse than it is. Like, they make everything so, like, you remember when they were going after, Keffals is not a good example because we don't like Keffals here, but remember they were going after Keffals' avatar and saying it was lolly and saying it was like inappropriate kid animation, but then she has a whole company called Teddy Fresh in which everything is kiddish. It's like, oh, so you can make, you know, clothing that's teddy bears, but somebody else can who's an adult. We need to stop. We need to remember teddy bears are also for adults, guys. Like, we're acting like adults can't wear pastels and wear teddy bears. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't trust Ethan and Hila because they have the audacity to have a whole brand, which is like kind of like clothes for younger people, which is fine. But to go after other people for also enjoying like even like chibi art, like anime chibi art, and then being like, oh my God, it's like, look, I don't care that adults wear pastels. I love pastels, okay? But I'm a little annoyed trusting Hila and Ethan to figure out the situation because I just don't trust them when it comes to this. So I feel bad that Olivia cried. She ran off the show because I think she is possibly being gaslit. If this is the clip of you that you guys are talking about, I can't consider this sexual assault. I can, and I would be willing to say that it's a two-way consent violation in a sense, you know? Because for me, consent also engages in informed consent. Like, he's not giving her informed consent for me because rejection should be informed, in my opinion, in a healthy relationship. So here's the problem, guys. In a healthy dynamic, your rejection of somebody would be informed, not the rejection of a stranger, but the rejection of maybe a coworker, a friend, a lover. And in this situation, it's a little bit of overlap, right? So I think that's the dilemma. Like, if I'm on a TV show and I'm paired up with somebody and I'm mean to them, I would want to explain to them why I'm mean to them. Chet says, did she stop when he said no? Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's look.
Suggesting Huda seemed eager for a deep connection, while Chris appeared hesitant and even resisted physical interaction. This clip also went viral.
Wait, Chad, why are you saying she's not being rejected? She's in the same bed as him, but she is being rejected. She wanted more attention and he said no. That is a rejection. That is a rejection. Saying no is a rejection, but I think rejection is a consent thing, which is why it's good. Being rejected is good. It's that person putting down their boundary, which he's allowed to do. So I want to make it clear, he is allowed to say no. He is good for saying no. He put down a boundary. So he's allowed to reject her. He's allowed to reject her. I think he did it in a cruel way. I think he could have been kinder. I think he's obviously mad at her. Right? Okay. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. I'm dead ass. Huda, 3, 2. Hello. She's tapping him. He says, I want to get some sleep. She said, oh my God, bro. So she's complaining. She's being toxic about it for sure. She's like begging him. It's like embarrassing. She's being embarrassed. She's being pathetic. Okay. And then she turns around and he said, so I'm not trying to be sleepy all day. She said, well, just snuggle me then. And he said no. So she's facing away from him. She's pulling away from him. Okay, so she's trying to talk to him, right? Like they're talking. And then she turns around and avoids him. Okay, that's it. So he verbally rejects her. She says, are you serious? Okay. He says, I'm not trying to be tired tomorrow. She says, okay, like, I'm going to be mad about it tomorrow, though. She's like informing him. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to cuddle you. And then she turns around and goes to sleep. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where this wouldn't hurt somebody's feelings if they're like romantically entangled with somebody and they're like, no, I'm not going to like cuddle you. Like, is this not like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's telling him like, hey, this is going to hurt my feelings and I'm going to be upset tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, fuck your feelings. Fuck you tomorrow. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in that. You know what I mean? I'm not about it. But that's because, to be fair, they should never have been paired up in the first place. It sounds like it, you know? Chet says, do you think that she was trying to create a cute moment for television and then got mad? He ruined it, her moment? I don't know. I don't have the context for that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Chet says, do you agree that context alone is toxic on her part? I think they're both toxic. So that's the first thing, right? Chet says, I think it's weird. She said there's going to be consequences for him not cuddling her tomorrow. Well, I think the consequences is she's going to be upset. So, okay, let's talk about it. There are no consequences for my partner rejecting me, but that doesn't mean I won't have hurt feelings. You can have both. I'm never going to punish my partner for not wanting to touch me, that doesn't mean my feelings won't be hurt. And not all the time and not every time, and not even me, Brittany, but just in general. I think it makes sense that when you go to love on somebody you love or like or are into and they reject you, I think you're allowed to feel fucking hurt, right? I think you're allowed to. You know, you're allowed to say like, oh, I'm not sure why you're rejecting me. And they might say, it's not you, it's me. I just need a second. You might feel a little bit better because if they don't tell you why they're rejecting you and then it feels like a fight, you know what I mean? So yeah, her saying she's going to be mad about it tomorrow is the form of toxicity that she needs to work on. But at the same time, I think she's allowed to say, or anyone's allowed to say, because again, it's not just about Huda and Chris. It's about all of our dynamics. And a healthy dynamic, I'm still allowed to be upset tomorrow that you rejected me without explaining to me why. Right? So that's the thing, is like, they're already toxic. We have to understand, expecting anything good out of a toxic situation is bad. Okay? So like, I feel like sometimes people get lost in trying to use this as an example of like a healthy couple. We can't. Because like, they don't even know the first thing about informed consent. They're on a fucking TV show about dating. Do you know what I mean? Like a silly TV show. So then it's important that like, we kind of understand that from that perspective. It's going to make people upset because again, what happens is people see situations and go, if this was reversed, if this was reversed, if this was reversed, if this was reversed and not on a TV show, okay, she probably would have been raped. Okay? So don't come with me if this was reversed. Okay? When women reject men, they are afraid for their lives. We're lucky there was cameras. We're lucky everything was fine. We're lucky that this show is toxic enough that they were trying to get probably a clip for TV. But let's not fucking, if this was reversed, if this was reversed. If this was reversed, nothing. Okay? This is a shitty TV show. I've seen so many of these dating TV shows. I've seen so many of them. This is basically what is expected. Pushing the boundaries, flirting with everybody. It's not good, but let's not pretend that this isn't the show. If you don't like it, you shouldn't be on it. Okay? This is the whole JoJo Siwa flirting with that Chris guy on her season and being like, she cheated. Oh, I'm sorry. Did we not think this was going to happen? Did we not think a young 22-year-old was going to go on a show and meet somebody 35 years old who fucking like didn't even have, like, they were all so toxic. So again, I'm not condoning it. I'm saying, why is Ethan Klein screaming essay? Ethan Klein, do we really trust Ethan Klein's opinion on essay? Do you know what I'm saying? No, I don't trust Ethan Klein's assessment of essay. Especially since he literally goes after women all of the time. Remember when he was going to sue a black creator because women called him a misogynist? Okay, can we please not use Ethan Klein as the arbiter of truth? But again, okay, Chet said because she's Palestinian. Maybe Ethan went after her because she's Palestinian. Okay? But yeah, in general, this show shouldn't have been this way in the first place. Like, it shouldn't have been set up this way in a big way. But that's the thing, is like, how toxic do you have to be on the show anyways? I think it's a requirement. Jess said, if I remember correctly, this stuff is hard for Olivia to talk about in the first place due to her own experiences. Yeah, exactly. Like, Olivia is a sexual assault victim, so it's difficult for her. And the last thing she wanted to do was support a predator. But it's hard to see Huda as a predator in this situation. Do you know what I mean? Especially shows that encourage people to drink and do alcohol and party and be like, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like we're not thinking about this clearly, but nobody ever does, bro. It's so crazy. I made that, we're going to talk about this today too. You know how we covered Sha'Carri the other day? And I literally said in my video that like, she's in the wrong. There were still men in my comments saying that I was playing for Sha'Carri, that I was like trying to support her, even though I made it pretty fucking clear, like what she did was wrong to her boyfriend, assaulting him in public. There were still men angry at me in the comments. So let's just be completely clear. Are you coming at this story good faith, or are you trying to use it as some gender war topic? Because that's what it felt like with Ethan and Gila. If the genders were reversed, are you having a real conversation? Are you just trying to get up one on women? Like, are you just trying to literally make an excuse for like a whole context of a situation? Do you know what I mean? People will be mad if they want to be mad because they're fucking misogynists. Okay, they'll just want to be mad because they hate women. And I'm just saying I can't be that mad at her, but I am sad for her. I think Huda needs therapy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we need to talk about therapy, girl, because you shouldn't beg a man for cuddles. But also, in a healthy relationship, you shouldn't have to beg your man for cuddles. Can you imagine? I would be like, hey, something wrong. You know how many times I ask my partner for hugs every day? Just this morning, I kept walking into our bedroom. I kept like walking in for attention and just like looking at my partner and like smiling and walking away. And he's like, you're so much like the cat, Indiana. He's like, you and Indiana ask for attention, but you don't even know what you want. You just want to like come in and like be like, hi, I'm here, and then walk away. And it's true. That's all I want. Can you imagine if my partner was like, you're being so fucking annoying. Can you stop coming in and out of the room? Like, you're so fucking annoying. I'd be like, ah. But instead my partner's like, hi. And every time I come into the room, my partner's like, hi, I love you. And I'm like, I love you. And I just kept coming in and being so fucking annoying. But all my partner did was love me harder. How hurtful would that be if I walked in and my partner was like, oh, you're fucking ruining my morning. Why are you doing this? You know what I mean? What if my partner shoved Indiana off of him every time she asked for cuddles? Indiana asks for cuddles and 30 seconds later, she's like, I'm over it. And she leaves. What if he eventually was like shoving my cat? Be like, ugh, stupid cat. You're so stupid. Would that not be divorce worthy? Would that not be divorce worthy? Don't play with me, bro. I would literally get divorced. Like, what? Don't you dare. Okay. Don't you dare. Anyways. Okay, grateful for healthy relationships, shout out. Grateful that my partner, you know, only reasonably rejects me. Not because of me, but like we reasonably reject each other. Ooh, I want to kiss you, but my breath stank really bad. I haven't brushed my teeth. Ooh, I want to kiss you, but hold on, I got to shower for today. Hold on, I want to kiss you, but I just ate all this garlic. It's like, thank you for saving me, bro. That's the only time you reject my kisses is when your breath stank, okay? It's just like, what are we talking about? What are you talking about rejecting my kisses? You know what I mean? We did not just get married for nothing. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Discord said true. All of the, if this was reversed, when on the average, men are more likely to respond to rejection with violence. The show literally forces them to interact as well. Literally, you know, producers are like, Huda, try to get sex with him. Huda, do this. You just know producers are encouraging them to be fucked up, right? Chat says they aren't allowed any breaks from each other. Oh, you just know the producers loved this moment. See, the producers are letting Huda get seen as a sexual assaulter. Well, they're just like counting their money. I definitely guarantee you. I guarantee you, all these people who have talked about being on these shows, there's definitely a lot of that, you know? Yeah, I just think that's it. Like, look, call it out for what it is. I can obviously point out all the ways it was toxic. But like escalating to like, she's a sexual assaulter, and if this was reversed, what would we do? I just feel like you're working too hard. You're trying too hard to find something that isn't there. And I don't expect anything less of Ethan Klein, since that's what he does. He always tries his hardest to find something that isn't there, which is why he spends his time screaming on Instagram. You just know he's going to go for Hassan next. For this GQ spread Hassan did, you just know Ethan's going to be salivating and like trying to cancel GQ next. He's a baby, and we shouldn't pay attention to anything he says.